People say to not run away from your problems. I think you should sometimes for like 10, 15 minutes, or I'll just blast some Whitney Houston in my car. Those little things just kind of rewire me. If I allow this to control everything throughout my day, there'd be times where I probably just wouldn't want to get out of bed, because there's some things that happen in life that I don't accept, and it makes you just want to be like, let me take a nap. But I have taught myself to just get up, get moving, take a few minutes, and then you come back and you like handle our business after that. You're a much nicer and better person.
Pull up a chair. You're sitting at the table with Powerhouse Women, the podcast where bold women in business come to connect, collaborate, and build something bigger than themselves.
We always say, if you're fortunate to have a seat at the table, pull up 3 more. That's exactly what we're doing here.
This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. We're creating space at the table for conversations that matter. The ones that challenge you, push you, and remind you that you do not have to do this alone.
Every episode, we're talking growth, success, and the real, unfiltered truths of entrepreneurship. No gatekeeping,
no fluff, just the perspective and community that you need to thrive. So, if you're ready to surround yourself with women who get it, you're in the right place, and there is already a seat with your name on it.
What's up, powerhouses?
Today, we're pulling up a chair for Victoria Posner, founder of Sweat with V. She's a certified personal trainer, online fitness and nutrition coach, endurance athlete, community builder, and entrepreneur who has spent more than a decade helping people become stronger, healthier, and more confident versions of themselves. She combines fitness, nutrition, mindset to create results that are both sustainable and empowering. She recently took her strength to an entirely new level, completing a marathon and then running continuously for 24 hours on a treadmill for Project 2442 in support of Boston Children's Hospital. Super excited for everything you have to share. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you here today, having a conversation with me and Morgan. And I think when we think about this podcast, you're really like the ideal person to empower or embody, I should say, what Powerhouse Women is, and everything that we stand for, and just like really empowering other women and being confident and all the things that go behind that. So, you have so much to share with us. Let's dive in. We have a lot of questions for you, but let's dive in and start talking about kind of like your journey into the fitness space. You and I have known each other for quite some time. And when we met, you actually worked in the fashion industry and you were even an entrepreneur then. So what did your relationship with fitness look like? And then when did you kind of start to make it a career?
So growing up, I played sports all the time. I was a lacrosse player, tennis, horseback rider, kind of did all of the things. But it was really after college, I started training with a trainer at my small gym in Barrington, Rhode Island. Really old school trainer, think like balloon pants, fanny pack, the whole thing. He was awesome, and he was so knowledgeable, and I had never strength trained before. That's more of a thing now with athletes. So back then I just went to the gym, and he taught me everything I knew about training. And he was like, "You're going to do a fitness show." And I said, "Come again?" And he showed me all these pictures of women in these bathing suits on stage that just looked incredible. And I am forever the girl with the sarong at the beach. I always have a sarong on. And I was like, I'm going to wear that on stage with all those lights. Probably not. He's like, I think that you should do it. And so I started training for it. And in that process, I just realized how much more confident I felt, and just the discipline it took to do that. And I wanted other people to feel that, not necessarily being on stage, but just the level of confidence that I had and the discipline it taught me. And that discipline carries on to other things in life. So that's really what got me into wanting to be a trainer. And then I started training by teaching a trampoline fitness class, which was epic. It was awesome. But when people think back on my story and like where I started, it's just really funny that it started with club lights and these mini trampolines. And in Rhode Island, and then I ended up here in Miami.
I love that. I feel like that's very you too. The trampoline.
It is very on brand.
Very on brand.
I did a trampoline fitness class the first time like 2 years ago. It was the most fun. I was giggling the whole way through. I was like, I'm getting an ab workout from just doing this, and I bought a little one and brought it home. Like, I love it. It's so much fun and it's so playful. And I feel like that's a huge aspect of fitness in general, that if you're having fun doing it, it doesn't feel like work. It's like something that you get to do. But I truly think it actually helps you have better workouts. Do you think that you kind of viewed it that way as well because you had a little bit of an athletic background? It's a little like a sport element to it.
Yeah, I think it's also about like rewiring your brain and telling yourself, like you're saying, I get to do this. This is awesome. This is fun. Instead of like, oh, this is torture. You know, everyone was laughing on there. Some women were like, oh my God, I peed my pants while we were doing it, but it was still great. You know, it's a fun atmosphere. And I know that there's classes in Miami, and people should definitely do it. I still have mine in my storage unit, which this conversation is making me want to take it out again. So I might just go right there after to get it. But it was a good way for me to enter into the fitness space because it also just allowed me to have fun and taught me that side of being a coach, being a trainer, and making sure that while there's a time to be serious, there's also some time to like have fun and just bring joy to what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think it's nice also that kind of like got you into it in that way as like your first class. I'm curious because when you and I obviously reconnected and I reached out to you because I really wanted your help like learning what to do in the gym, and a big part of that was confidence too. I think, you know, I'm not alone in that, where so many people, like if they're not used to going to the gym or strength training or working out, it's super intimidating. And you definitely like gave me a lot of confidence to feel like I can do it. But do you have any advice for people who feel that way, who maybe like aren't so into fitness, but they want to get into fitness and they feel a little bit intimidated?
I think if you're going to train in the gym, it's always important to get someone that can help you along the way. Get a trainer, even if it's only for a few times, but don't just let them train you. Tell them. And this is something that I do, but if your trainer doesn't do this, I would tell them to show you how to show up how to set up a leg extension or a hamstring curl for your height. So that when you go into the gym by yourself, you're not like, we use this machine, but I can't figure it out. And then you're pressing all sorts of things and you're like, everyone's watching me, and it's super uncomfortable. So I always tell people, just ask your trainer, show you how, show you what setting you should be on, and just put it in your phone so that when you go by yourself, if you forget, you can just check or take photos or videos when they're showing you how to do it. And I think that always helps with feeling confident in the gym.
Yeah, that's a good point, because getting the machine set up is the hardest part. It's so true. You're like, everybody's watching me. This is so embarrassing. Like,
yeah. And don't worry about like loading a barbell if like the clips, you're having trouble with trying to get it on and off. Like, everyone's been there. It's all right. Yeah. I remember being sweating in the gym. I'm like, everyone is watching me right now. I'm struggling, but everyone's been there.
Yeah. And there are so many different machines now. I mean, I've been working out basically my whole life in different types of gyms. You still go into some now that the machinery is different. They just do it a little bit different way. And I'm still being like, okay. I mean, the other day I took a picture and sent it to ChatGPT and I was like, what machine is this? Like, I think it's for hamstrings, but where do I lie down to get into the contraption? Like, that still happens. Yeah. It's okay.
It happens to me, and I've been in this for like 17 plus years. There is so much booty equipment right now. I'm just like, you put your leg where and how?
Yeah. So you strap it to your leg in what way?
I am just like, what is happening here? So yeah, it happens to all of us.
Yeah. Because you have this background, and especially since you've also gone through competing, which can be extremely regimented, especially in a short period of time. Do you feel like you are a very disciplined routine type of workout person, or do you tend to be more of an intuitive workout person? How do you kind of structure your personal routines?
I'm very disciplined. I write everything down in a workout journal. And I feel like that helps me stay disciplined. Some people think that that's crazy, and I can totally see that from an outsider looking in. They're like, what is happening over there? Why does she need to write it all down? But it makes me stay on task. I feel like if I were to just go in and didn't have my journal with me, I'd be like, yeah, I could skip that. I know myself well enough that I'd just be like, but if it's written there and I don't do it, I feel like I did myself a disservice. Like I just didn't stay on task. And so I write it down. But I also allow myself to have a day where I can just go in and have fun. And my fun is probably different than some people's, but I'm like, let's do some like burpees and some animal flow, and let's like hit a box jump. And people are looking at me like, are you all right? But yeah, I just allow myself to just go in and do whatever I want to do instead of having it all written down, and I just leave the journal like in the car. But yeah, I haven't been able to strength train as much because of all the running that I'm doing. It's still important to strength train. I do it 2 to 3 times a week, but I need to keep myself fresh. My shoulders, all of it's involved, when you're running. And so I miss strength training, but I have a different goal right now to get to the New York City Marathon. So I'm definitely tailoring my training towards that.
That's a big goal. And I think it's good too, because it's like, because you're competing and like doing these different races or projects or challenges, then I do think you probably have to be a little more disciplined, right? Because it's like, you have to stick to a specific plan to help you achieve your goals.
People are like, you're so lucky you get to work out all the time. And then I show the videos of me at 4 a.m. leaving my place. And, I have to train at that time because some of the mileage is so long that it takes 2 hours plus. And where do I have that in my day? So I have to be up before everyone else is up. And I don't run outside in the dark by myself as a woman. For me personally, I don't do that. So I have to get let into a gym early, or I have to go in my apartment gym, or wait and have shorter runs. So when I run outside or run with a run club. But yeah, it's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of focus and scheduling the day around it.
Yes. Well, you also have a crazy schedule because you're always like teaching classes and you have, clients at various times. I'm also curious because I think a lot of the listeners of this podcast have crazy busy schedules as well. And a lot of them are entrepreneurs and always on the go. And I think that's a challenge that a lot of people have too. Like when you do have such a busy schedule, how are you not only finding the time to prioritize yourself and your fitness goals, but nutrition's a big part of it too. Like if you don't prep things, then you're on the go, and what's the fastest thing you can eat? Like usually it's not that great for you. So do you have any like advice on that, on how to stay consistent especially with like eating and nutrition when you do have such a busy schedule?
Yeah, I know that meal prepping can be annoying and a task, and it's just another thing to add to your day. But I promise that if you do it, your day will be so much better, because you're not like, oh my gosh, I ordered from this place and the guy on the bicycle is just not here yet from Uber Eats. Like he decided to take a bike today and now my day is behind, so it's just, you have your food ready to go and you're eating healthy and clean, and it's supporting what you're trying to do throughout the rest of the day, whether it's going to meetings and you need energy, or you're going to the gym, or whatever it is, like what you need, and you're getting that, and that you're not going over by having some sauce that they decided to put on, even though you asked for it on the side, or whatever might happen with your order. So it is a task, and I always tell people that it takes a little while to get used to doing something, but once you do it repetitively, it just becomes a part of your week. And it just makes everything else that much easier. So meal prep, do it.
What are some of your favorite things to meal prep that are like easy to make that people may enjoy?
I am boring. I will eat the same thing every day, but I enjoy it. I know some people are going to be so triggered by hearing me say that, so I'm sorry. But I eat ground beef. I eat broccolini, a lot of green beans, and I don't really make a lot of chicken because I had to have so much chicken when I was doing fitness competitions that it's like gives me the ick now. I just can't, I haven't been able to go back there. But just, yeah, ground beef, tuna in water in a can, like just rinse it. It's so easy. And just have some green beans and sweet potatoes, or I get rice that you can microwave in a bag. It's probably not the best for you, but sometimes that's what it is. It's better than going out. So, yeah, protein, carbs, fats, always.
Love it. Can't go wrong with a little ground beef.
Yeah. And I mean, you can use sauces. I use this company New Sauce. This is not an ad, but I use this company New Sauce, and it's healthier sauce. You can find it online, and I love the flavor. They have so many different flavors, and I just put a little bit of that on, and I'm good.
Yeah, you can spice it up a little, you know?
Yeah, spices, all the different things. Like you don't need a ton of sauce, just some good spices, and you're good.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I think one thing we really want to talk to you about today was mindset. And with that, gratitude and just like being able to do hard things. Obviously, we're going to get into, some of the most recent things that you've been able to accomplish. But something that always stuck out to me was you relatively consistently will post a list of gratitudes on your Instagram story. And I love that because it's always a reminder for me that I need to be practicing gratitude. But how does that practice look in your life? Like, and have you always been a person that maybe it came naturally to, or is it something that you feel like you work at?
Everyone has some tough times in their life. And I think at one point I was going through a lot in my personal life, and I just couldn't get out of it. I mean, I was going throughout my day, going throughout the motions, but inside I was like, I'm just not feeling great. And so I started to write this list of what I am grateful for, and what is going right in life, and open up my eyes to all the beautiful things that are happening and that I do have in my life. And I started posting it, and other people started posting it, and people would write me what they were grateful for. And it just has become pretty much a daily practice. I don't always put it on my Instagram story, but this is now a reminder to me that I should, because it does get people talking, it gets people thinking. And it's important because, like I said, everyone has these moments in their life where they just feel like nothing is going right and everything is just happening to them. But when you open up your mind and your heart to all the things that are going right and beautiful things, more things happen that are just beautiful. It just kind of keeps going. It keeps manifesting into more things that are awesome.
I love that mindset. And that's so powerful. And you kind of were talking about being able to reframe things earlier, and sometimes seeing struggles or hardships that you're going through as opportunities, and they might suck. They might be really testing you, but being able to reframe it, see gratitude where you might not be currently, and being able to change it and kind of trudge through and be like, if I can get through this, it will be better. Like, can I see the good in it, is so powerful. And that trickles through everything beyond just physical fitness. So that probably just bleeds into every other area of your life, because it is all interconnected.
Right. And start looking at the things that are challenging or that have been putting you down as an opportunity to learn from them. And I really believe that everything that happens to you in your life gives you the opportunity to rewire your brain and think about how you could change things, or how that could not happen again, or how you can remove yourself from a situation if you need to, before allowing it to turn into something bigger. There's always something to be learned from the lessons, and they then become blessings in your life.
Yeah. Well, something I also admire, and for anyone that follows you, I'm sure they would agree, or new listeners who will follow you after this episode, is you're always very open and honest and authentic on social media in the way you show up. And just even hearing you talk about like some of these things, a lot of times when you share, you'll sign off, I've seen as like your big sis, Victoria. And I love that. Is there something that made you think that, you know, like, or some experience that made you think maybe I should be sharing more, or like being more open online with all of, you know, the wisdom and the things that you have inside of you? I think it's really nice to be able to share in that way, and not a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, I think that, well, I know that growing up, I wish I had a big sister. I really did. And I still do. I hope that one day I marry someone that has a sister. So yeah, I've always kind of wanted someone to look up to myself, growing up. And so I often will sign off like that, because I hope that I can be the big sister I never had, to someone that's watching or listening. And I think that we are often looking at Instagram and seeing everyone's highlight reels. And I even said this the other day on my Instagram story, that my life is not a highlight reel. And people look at me all the time like, you are Coach V, energy, lightning bolts, just ready to go all the time. And yes, I am full of energy, and I love dancing and having fun with my class and just, you know, all the energy. But I also have my own struggles. I also go through things. And I think that the younger generation is seeing so much of people in Europe, people, you know, on their yachts, and people just traveling all the time, and their life is so great and all this stuff. But a lot of those people probably have their own struggles as well. Everyone has struggles, and we're just not seeing that. And I think it's so important for any young girl or guy that follows me to see that life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, as they say. You know, there are difficult moments. It's just how you go about handling those moments that are going to change the trajectory of your life. And so yeah, I think it's really important to share those tough times. You know, share the wins, but also share the losses, and share what you've learned from them.
Yeah, it's such a good reminder when I see that too, and even having this conversation, because the most engagement probably that I ever get on social media is times when I've posted about something like maybe not so great that happened to me, especially like I've gotten away from doing it again. This is a good reminder, but you know, like I would share things just about like my business or my week, or sometimes like things that weren't going well and that were very difficult. And the amount of messages that I would get back, it was like so much more, right?
Because it's relatable.
It's so relatable. And I think it's refreshing too, like you were saying, because 95% of what we see on social media is not that. So it's just, I think, really refreshing for people to see like, wow, I'm not alone at the end of the day.
Especially when you're looking up to powerhouses such as yourselves. You know, you think everything's going right for them, and they're just crushing it at life. But it's all the little details that you have to go through throughout your day to make it that. And people aren't seeing that, you know, setting up the home, setting up, you know, all of it is a part of what becomes up here. But so many times we just see this. We don't see all the things that like, so it's important.
And recognizing that kind of like every step of the way comes with its own challenge, whether it's an internal or external situation that you then have to face. You have to decide where you're comparing to somebody else's decision, and then being like, hey, there's a lot that I might not see behind them. I don't know what they're facing. I don't know what challenge they might be going through. Maybe they are in a great period of life and they're not dealing with anything right now. But what did they have to get through to get there? Like, right. It's not just this easy linear process for everybody. There's so many unknowns behind it. And I think gratitude, like we were talking about, is such an easy, not necessarily easy, but something that you can start practicing consistently and start little over time that truly does help change that.
Right. And when I post the gratitude, I also want people to know, because I like to keep it real. In that moment, when I'm posting it, I'm not always like, I'm so grateful for all this. It's like, I'm going through a hard time, but let me see these few things that are going right. And then after I post it, I feel brighter and lighter. But when I'm going into posting it, I don't always feel like, yes, amazing. But it's after I'm like, all right, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, a little reset.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I was also curious too how you see, I guess, just like mindset overall, because obviously, you are so into fitness and it is your career, but you also have this focus on like gratitude and mindset. How has that opened up your eyes to kind of like the mind body connection and how that works, just in terms of like, okay, if I'm feeling mentally bad today, how does that impact my body and vice versa?
Yeah, if I feel like I'm struggling with something mentally, it does affect my body. It makes me tired, makes me just kind of lethargic throughout the day. But how I go about that is just trying to get myself moving. I often will, if I'm going through something and I need a little reset, I'll try to just go for a walk outside, just kind of not to be all kumbaya, but like become one with nature. Like I'll just go for, like Victoria needs a walk in the grass right now, okay? And then we'll come back and we'll handle all putting out all the fires. So yeah, I'll go for like a 15-minute walk and just kind of get a breather. Or I'll just blast some Whitney Houston in my car. You can often find me at a light, just like dancing, singing in a car. And I look over to my left and someone's looking at me like Kermit the Frog, like, what is she doing? Those little things just kind of rewire me. And then I feel like I'm good to go. But if I allow this to control everything throughout my day, there'd be times where I probably just wouldn't want to get out of bed because, there's some things that happen in life that flat out suck. And it makes you just want to be like, let me take a nap. But I have taught myself to just get up, get moving, get outside, breathe some fresh air, blast some music, dance around, put on my favorite songs, and we're good to go. Then we like handle our business after that. It's just like have a moment for yourself and then get it together.
Absolutely. And walking's such a
I love
good way
that.
to do it.
Yeah, vitamin D.
Running is a really good way to do it. The other day I woke up and I was just like having a morning already, like, when you just wake up and you just feel bad. And I was like, I just want to like feel something, like something that's not this. And I hadn't ran in like 8 or 9 months. And I was like, running will do it because like I'm going to feel something. I don't know if it's what I want to feel, but and it did. I felt so much better just like being outside and like getting some adrenaline, getting my heart rate up and seeing nature and seeing the sun and listening to really good music. Like those things that work for you can really help to just kind of like shake it off and move forward.
Yeah, people say to not run away from your problems. I think you should sometimes for like 10, 15 minutes. And then you come back and you'll just think differently. It's like when you answer the text right away and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's like that. If you kind of take a few minutes and then you come back, you're a much nicer and better person, I think.
Absolutely.
I agree. Now, coming from somebody who doesn't run, this might be where we're going. For somebody who doesn't run, I maybe did in like junior high. I was called stompy. Like I don't have the form. That's not my form of working out. How does one then decide I'm going to do a marathon, and then after that be like that wasn't enough? I'm going to run for 24 hours straight. How does that happen?
So yeah. It's funny because people call me a runner, but I'm like, I am not a runner. They're like, girl, you ran for 24 hours straight on a treadmill. You a runner. Whether you like it or not, you're a runner. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe. I guess it is me. I did do that. But yeah, I didn't run for a few years consistently after some calf strains, but the whole 24-hour Project 2442 was about something deeper. And I think when you have a strong why behind doing something, then there's just no stopping you. that's just kind of how I've been. And I think that you choose your hard. Like people say, oh, you ran 105 miles, 24 hours on a treadmill. The New York City Marathon is going to be no big deal. Every run is hard. Every single run I've done is hard, whether it's 2 miles or 105 miles. It's just what's your hard for that day. And sometimes when you set it in your head, I was listening to Kevin Hart. He was on a podcast on Call Her Daddy, I think. And he was talking about how you choose what's hard for that day. So if you tell yourself, oh, I got 5 miles today, that's going to be hard. And tomorrow you say, oh, I have 12 miles today. Well, that'll be hard. And then the next day you run 5 again and that'll be hard. Well, you just ran 12 yesterday. You can do 5 now, but it's whatever you set in your mind for that day it's going to be hard because that's what you're telling yourself. So the 105 miles, I ran in honor of my best friend, Amanda, who I lost to cancer 3 years ago. She was my best friend and an incredible human. She taught me so much about life and never giving up. I never once heard her complain when she was sick. And she was my why. And I just kept thinking about her when I was running. And I didn't do it alone. I had a different anatomy member. That's a gym that I work on. I had a different member run with me every hour. And I only had headphones in for 4 minutes of the entire 24 hours. I just heard people's stories along the way and it kept me going. There were some very vulnerable moments in that too. My stomach was not right. And I had people that got me through. And it just taught me so much about community and how important it is to align yourself with people around you that want to see you win and want to support you.
So one of the things I thought was really funny was the questions that people were asking you on Instagram about running for 24 hours on a treadmill. What is that?
Yeah, are you going to wear a diaper? Like, how are you going to go to the bathroom? And I said, yes, I'm wearing Depends. I'm just not going to go to the bathroom. Of course I went to the bathroom. Anytime I went to the bathroom, the clock stopped. And this is how crazy I am with the discipline. So I brought a stopwatch with me to the bathroom because I knew how long I had before I had to get back or the treadmill would just turn off. So I wasn't just going to the bathroom. I was on a time frame every time I went. It was wild. My stomach did not like those gels. And there was a point where I was running and talking to people like this. And it was bad. And like I said, I had vulnerable moments with the most beautiful part about it is that those vulnerable moments happened with people that I had never really had a relationship with before, besides them being an anatomy member. And there's this one woman who at night, she was like, I'm going to rub your stomach in the bathroom. We're going to lay down. We're going to stop the clock. We're going to write down the miles, blah, blah. And we're going to go in the bathroom and I'm going to rub your stomach. And whatever happens, it's just you and I in here. And I'm like, girl. It's so embarrassing. She's like, whatever, just let it out. And I'm like, oh my Lanta. But we got through and we got back on the treadmills and we were singing like, I think it was Backstreet Boys. And I did not think I was going to get back up on that treadmill, honestly. I really did. I was like, I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to tell the people. And then I was like, I have my why. I need to do this. I don't care if I'm crawling. I got to do it. And we got back on there and we started playing Backstreet Boys. This was in the middle of the night. The music was blasting. It was just us in there. We did it. We just kept going. It was truly amazing. It makes me like emotional just thinking about it. Yeah, it was definitely not a project that was done alone. Yes, I ran the 105 miles, but it's really the people along the way. And, as corny as that might sound, they got me through because there were definitely some trying moments where I was in tears. I felt nauseous. And they just pushed me along, whether it was talking, dancing on the treadmill, singing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that for people who maybe were not following along on Instagram. You really did a lot to prepare for this and like set it up to make sure that you could complete this challenge, which I thought was really cool. Like you had all of the things you were going to put in your body, whether it was the gels or other things that you were consuming throughout the 24 hours, prepared in like packs for each hour. And then you also had people come every single hour, right? And either run beside you or walk beside you, which I thought was genius.
Yeah, it helped so much. Honestly, I had a handwritten note to every person that was running next to me with the Boston Children's Hospital sticker, and then the fuel that they were going to give me each hour, which I was really just going by different things ultra marathoners had told me. I'd been messing around with gels for months before that. Like 2 months, because I decided I was going to do it 2 months before. When I told the gym and I asked them about doing this, they're like, so when are you going to do this? Like in the fall? I was like, no, in 2 months from now. They're like, come again. What? And yeah, I just was like, I'm just going to do it. It's just how I am. Just like, let's go. I think I probably would have been more nervous about it had I planned out 6 months in advance. And I actually was sick the few days before. I was in my apartment laid out. I mean, I don't know if it was a cold or what it was, but I didn't run for 2 days before. I really thought we were going to have to cancel it because I was concerned that I'd be too dehydrated, not well fueled. And I just got up that morning and I was like, we're doing it. It's a go. So, but yeah, the having people beside you, you're always going to win when you have good people around you, in anything that you do. Running is often a solo sport, so they say, but it's really the run club I do with Run for 40 on Wednesday mornings, 4:40 a.m. at the track. It's, the people that have offered to run along the way, or the people that I see while I'm on the treadmill at Anatomy. And there's people that'll walk by every time. They're like, and they have no idea how many miles I'm doing that day, but they're just like cheering me on, and they know that I'm working towards something. It's all of that. I could be like, oh, this run right now, and someone will come by and be like, let's go, and I'm like, let's go, and I like pick up the pace. So yeah, it's all about people.
I love it. Obviously these are hard things that you did that I think so many people would feel like, I am like, I don't think I could ever run a marathon. Like, to think about running continuously for 24 hours, I can barely fathom that. What has that taught you about yourself? Like, what has doing these hard things taught you?
It's taught me a lot about perseverance and pushing through difficult moments. I have been through a few things in my life that I've had to push through, which is why like my slogan is Unleash Your Power. And it's like finding your power through difficult moments. And I think more importantly than what's done for me is like people have come up to me and said, yeah, you only ran 21 miles before that. That was the furthest I've ever run before just going for 105. And we were so close to 105 at the end, and I actually went over time. I was like, we're so close to 4 marathons. I'm not ending now. Like, let's go. And they were like, what? It's over. What? And I just wanted to do it. I was so close at that point. But it's taught me a lot about discipline and just, continuing on when things get hard, because so many people just stop the moment it gets hard. And I personally have done that as well. And I haven't allowed things to grow into what they could have been. And I know what that feels like. But I've grown so much since those moments, and have taught myself that this is where the good part starts. I actually listened to a podcast that a runner sent me. The woman was talking about when it gets sticky, when it gets muddy in the run, and it's just like you don't want to go further. Celebrate that moment, because it's such a big deal that you even got to that moment. And that really rewired everything that I was thinking going into this. And I had that on my mind as I was running, and it's really just pushing through those tough moments, because there is a lot of like glory, joy, change, growth on the other side of it. Just like when you're lifting and it's tough, or you're in a HIIT workout and you're like, oh my gosh, I need water, I need this, I need that. But it's getting to the other side of that. You're like, yeah, I did that. I did that. And yeah, it was hard, but I pushed through, I did it, and you feel elated.
Super high.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next for Project 2442?
So I would love to do a 50 miler outside, going from different locations. And I'm in the process of figuring that out. I really want to incorporate small businesses and, you know, I Run, which is a sneaker store that I go to all the time for all things running. It's been so supportive of me and everything that I'm doing, and you know, involving Lululemon or involving little coffee shops along the way for us to stop and kind of, you know, people are like, you're like the Forrest Gump. I'm like, yeah, people just start joining along the run throughout, and some people might do the whole thing, and other people might just join for little legs of it, but just something that really involves the community. That's what I'm working on now, and something I'm pretty passionate about.
I love it. Well, I think that's a good segue into community. I mean, you are so big on community, and I know that from knowing you personally and seeing, you know, how you integrate that into social media, how you share about it, just really how you show up. But obviously you've talked about it a lot in terms of what it meant with these challenges and this project specifically. When did community really become like a core part of your life?
You know, I was always on teams, and I knew what that felt like to have teammates, and captains and coaches and all of that. And I feel like that was always such a big part of my life, being on different athletic teams. But I think being in Florida, where fitness is a way of life, and I started doing these workouts at different locations in Fort Lauderdale when I first moved here, and just seeing people come together and enjoy sweating together, and just push each other and encourage each other and inspire one another. It just seeing the photos when I look back, and just the joy on people's faces and the high fives and all of it, that's my heartbeat. You know, that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me tick. You know, people writing me after class, telling me what it meant to sweat with a bunch of people, and to just, you know, and how it helped them throughout their day. All of that stuff matters to me. I'll never take one of those messages for granted. All of it means the world to me, and I think that they know that. But community helps people in good times and in bad. And you know, it's a common theme with everything that we're talking about, because it's true. It's just, you can get through life on your own. You can. But when you have good people around you and people that want to see you win, genuinely want to see you win, there's just no limit to what you can do. And so if I can be a vehicle that can bring people together, whether it's over a project that I do, or it's a class, or it's an event, I'm 100% down. I want people to feel that. I want people to leave making new friends and feeling the joy that it can bring.
I love how you describe it, but that's also so palpable even through a screen when you're talking about all of these things. So, and clearly the stories of people just seeing you and cheering, you've made that such a big part of your life. Were you always community focused? Did you always have people around you even when you were like young? Or do you think that was something that you kind of like cultivated?
No, I was like bullied as a kid. I had a lot of boys that wanted to be friends. And the girls were just like, yes, bitch. So I didn't have a lot of girlfriends growing up. It was only later on in life, like in my 20s, that I started to really have girlfriends. And I have a good core girl group in Rhode Island those are my ride or dies. Those are my girls. Whether I talk to them all the time or not, like I've always said that the people you don't need to talk to every single day, like sometimes those are your closest people. You just pick right back up. Like, well, I'm going home this weekend and we're just going to pick right back up where we left off. And I love that. And I still think I'm an introverted extrovert. I don't know. Like I do a lot of things on my own. I go to dinner on my own and I enjoy that. Like it's sometimes that's just like peace for me, whatever. I do a lot of things alone, but I also, I know that when I was younger, I really craved this community or these like friendships that I didn't have. For whatever reason, whether it was a school I went to or whatever it was, it just wasn't a part of my life and I always wanted it. And so then I think when I got into this fitness space, it was like, it just became a part of me and I wanted people to feel included. So much of how I felt growing up was that I wasn't included. And I just was like, why am I not included? I mean, I'm fun. Pick me. But I just wasn't. And I think that just became what my purpose was to make people feel included, no matter what you looked like, what age you were, whatever it is. I just want you to feel like you belong.
Well, you do a really incredible job of that.
That means so much. Thank you.
Yeah. I think, with that, obviously people I see you as such a confident person. So it's also really like interesting to hear just about kind of like how things started out and maybe how you felt when you were younger compared to the person that you are now. For people that don't know you, like some of my favorite things about you is how you express yourself through fashion. Like you will wear whatever you want. You'll wear the craziest patterns, colors, outfits, if that's how you're feeling that night. And you always share it on social media. And I love that. And another thing I think that you do sometimes is you'll post like going out with a friend, having a fun day, which obviously you are such a disciplined person, right? And everybody knows that. It's like once in a blue moon, you're like going out for the day, letting your hair loose, and you will just dance like a maniac, like all day. I'm picturing you and Steph right now on Instagram in like crazy sneakers, like doing some like insane dance moves. And I love that about you. And I think that so many people probably watch that and think like, wow, I wish I felt comfortable to do something like that. Or like, I wish that I could be like my authentic self in that way. And I think it's a really beautiful thing. How did you like become comfortable in your own skin and gain that confidence to just be who you are?
I think that we all struggle with different things that, we wish we could change or, but I think that I learned to embrace those things while I'm working on them. So while I am like a glute coach, a lot of people would refer to me as a glute coach or abs or I didn't exactly love my legs, but then I started working on them and training more. And in that process, I started to love on myself more. Just like in running, I would massage my legs and like actually put on lotion. Usually I'm just like, I gotta go, just throw the lotion on. But through all the running and I posted this the other day, just a picture of my legs and gratitude for my legs and how far they've gotten me. And I was like, and when times are tough, I'll look back and realize how much these legs have gotten me through. I became more confident when I was working on the things that were making me feel less confident. I just learned to appreciate myself more and like the fact that I'm actually working on it. If I wasn't working on it, I'd probably still be insecure about some things. Leaning into letting your hair down, like, just go, just do what and a lot of people will also say things about what you wear, what you do. And you're 42 years old, I'm almost 43, and life is short. Do what you want to do, girl. Within reason. That's
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, just like loving on yourself and appreciating how like what you do for yourself. I think that makes you be a little bit more confident in things.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about going into your 40s, I think so many women especially, but so many people in general, they view getting older, and a lot of it now is people are saying like mid-30s, late 30s. They're like, oh, your life is downhill from that, or you're in the best shape of your life at this point. Now it goes downhill. Clearly your perspective is different. Is your experience different? Do you still see that people in your corner like aren't saying that. Maybe that's also Miami lifestyle. I'm in Arizona. We kind of had that lifestyle too. But what is your experience? What are the people around you saying?
I feel like a lot of people do say things kind of go downhill after 30s or when you have kids. And, you know, I can't speak on the kids part. I'm not married. I don't have children. So I never want to say I understand when I clearly don't understand that perspective. But I will say that in August, I'll be 43. And I do feel like I'm in the best season of my life. And I know that can sound foo-foo, but for me, I know exactly who I am. And there was a long time that I didn't. And like when I didn't have girlfriends or I felt alone growing up, you know, I was like, I don't even know who I am or who should I be? Maybe I should be this person and then people will like me more. You know, and now, and I used to just like want to have every single friend. I wanted everyone to love me. And now I'm just kind of like, it's okay if people don't, you know, it's okay. And I know who I am. I know exactly what I want. And I know that if I want to, you know, have stronger legs, I got to get in the gym and I got to do that, you know, and I just feel like this is the best season of my life because I know those things. If I tell myself that it's all over from here, well, my life is just going to go down the tubes. So I just choose to tell myself that it's great and it can only get better, you know? That's just kind of how I look at it. But I also think that, you know, I live in Miami where this is a way of life. Fitness is a way of life. I do think that it's important for women in their 40s to know that you got to put yourself out there. So that's important for me because I know a lot of women do look at me like, why are you not married? Why are you not like, you got to put yourself out there and you need to be intentional. You need to make sure that you're dating for the right reasons. And I actually just removed I only teach one night class now. I removed my night classes because if I say I want to get married, I need to be able to date. And before I'd be like, I can't, I'm coaching or I'm training or I'm this or I'm that. So, you know, if you want to, I don't know, I just think that it's important for women to know that you should just get out there. And I know that dating is hard and dating is hard anywhere. People always say it's harder here, which might be true because shiny object syndrome. There's like 20-year-old hotties everywhere, and the guys are like, "Oh, you're the 20-year-old who can give me babies." But I think women need to just get out there, just put on the dress, put on the jeans, put on some heels, whatever it is, and just get out there and be vulnerable but strong. Vulnerable but strong.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure some people do also feel like maybe it's difficult or they get like discouraged, you know what I mean? So I think there's also something to be said for, like you said, just like putting on an outfit that you feel very confident in, going out and like, you know, keeping in mind that you're going to go out and order your favorite cocktail or like listening to music that you like before you go out, like something that kind of makes you feel like you want to put yourself out there, you know?
Right. If you tell yourself I'm in my 40s, who's going to want to date me or who's going to want to be with me now, or then that's what it becomes. But if you tell yourself I'm going out and I might meet the love of my life tonight, and you might be the love of my life for 3 weeks. We really don't know. but hey, at least we're trying, you know, we're trying. So just get out there and trust that everything is happening in its right timing, even if it feels like it isn't in the moment. It's all happening for you.
Okay, this has been an incredible conversation. To end every episode, we usually close it out with a hot take from each of us. This is one of my favorite segments. Morgan, why don't you kick us off with a hot take today?
This is coming to mind because I've been having car problems and I have like no internal GPS. So I have to rely on maps or Google Maps. And every time for this past 7 months, this whole year, anytime I go anywhere where there's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, I will always click a different route, like the shaded gray route. And whenever I click it, I'm saving like at least 2 minutes, if not more. And I'm like, I'm convinced that that all of these companies now have partnerships with like the petroleum gas stations, and they're just tacking on time to everybody's drive, just a minute here and a minute there to make people go get more gas. And that's my conspiracy and hot take.
I mean, it could be for sure. Why are they giving us multiple routes, I guess? And
I don't know.
I'll look into this.
But I swear, the past few months, I've been like, almost any other time that I've done it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad I didn't go my route because it would have added 5 minutes. Now, I'm like, I should always go my route. I should always take like the back route and it'll work.
fair enough.
I try that now.
Yeah, now start looking.
Forget the $5 a gallon gas. I mean, there's other things to be concerned about, I guess.
Yeah. They're going to get you one way or the other. They'll just add time on a route.
I love it. Coach V, do you have a hot take for us?
Women come to me about dating and asking all these things as I'm 42 years old and single in Miami. And most of the time I hear that people want to date this tall man. But I gotta say, some short kings, some short kings are really funny. I don't know if they're like making up for the lack of height or what it is, but they're really funny. So don't sleep on the short king.
But I
That's
will
my hot
say,
take.
how tall are you?
Girl, let's not put that out there. No, I am what I call fun size. I am 5'3" and shrinking, according to the doctor said I'm 5'2". I'm still going with 5'3", and that's what I'm saying with.
You've got a little more room in like the short king department, you know, like someone who's 5'5", at least they still have a few inches on you. If I were to be with a man who is 5'5", people would be looking like, what's happening right now?
And then your heels have to be thrown out.
Well, for all us fun size girls, don't sleep on the short king.
Fair, 100%. I mean, they're out there, you know, and they have great personalities.
Everyone
Yeah.
needs love, you know.
I think that's the
I love that.
to make everyone feel included and feel loved.
Yes.
It's showing up in your dating life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, my hot take is kind of depends where you live, but to give a little context, like in Miami, we have so many of these membership clubs, and more just keep popping up. And so there's like beach club memberships where, you know, you can spend $10,000 a year to go to the beach and get beach chairs at a nice hotel. And then, you know, once you're there, you still spend maybe $300 that day on food and drinks and whatever else you want to order. There's now like restaurant membership clubs where some of them are like $25,000 a year to be a member at this, and you get priority reservations and access to go spend money at this restaurant. And I think my hot take is that's a big scam. I will never be falling for that, no matter how much money I make. You will not catch me spending $25,000 a year so that I can have access to a restaurant. That's it.
I mean, I'm a Rhode Island girl. Like, my dad and I, growing up, would get in the car with our beach chairs, lug all the stuff. I mean, they just don't know about this anymore. Lugging all the stuff in like a wagon or not, and just holding it like this, going onto the beach. And like, I will still do that. I mean, one hotel and all that. It's all great.
Enjoy that. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of enjoy that. For me, that's like part of the process, because that's how I grew up too in Massachusetts, a New England thing, you know, like you pack your sandwich and your fruit and your snacks for the day, and then your beach chair. Like, that's a whole part of the experience for me. I enjoy that. I don't want to have to spend $10,000 a year to not do that.
Me too.
Yeah. And I'd also rather find like the restaurant that I love, get to know the staff, and then you can come in and you can have the best service, and they really love you, and it's just authentically, naturally the place that you're going. You're not spending 25 grand just to be like, please put me first.
I agree on that. Absolutely.
I'm glad we're all aligned.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. That's getting pretty popular here in Scottsdale too.
We must put a stop to membership clubs.
Agreed.
Yes. At least limit it. My goodness.
It's just for everything now. It's getting out of hand.
Getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Everything's a subscription or a membership. Yep.
And it goes back to people feeling like they're not included. I'm all about that inclusiveness, so I'm not joining any clubs.
We make
No, you'll start the community. Yeah.
I'll start the community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Victoria. Thank you for joining us, for sharing all your wisdom with us. Where can everybody find you, connect with you? What's your social media? Do you have a website? How can people reach out?
So the best way to find me is through Instagram, so I can get back to you as soon as possible. Sometimes emails, you know how that goes. There's just a long list of emails. So you can find me on Instagram at Victoria Posner, Posner.
Amazing. And she's the best to follow. I promise. Her content is so entertaining. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of At the Table with Powerhouse Women. Thanks for tuning in. If you love today's conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Your support helps us keep pulling up more seats at the table.
Want to keep the conversation going? Join the movement at powerhousewomen.com/society.
And connect with us on Instagram at Powerhouse Women.
Until next time, keep showing up, keep building, and remember, there's always room at the table for you.